Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dakota's Political Circle. And I got some breaking news for you that happened yesterday. So, RFK Jr. is expecting to drop out of the presidential race by the end of the week and is planning to endorse Donald Trump, which is crazy. Now, obviously, this isn't official that he has officially endorsed Trump yet, but several sources in mainstream media have literally said that RFK Jr. is planning to endorse Trump on Friday after he drops out. So if Trump does this, which I'll actually show you exactly what happens if Trump, if RFK Jr. does do this, does endorse Trump, I'll show you exactly what could happen and why it's a big advantage for Trump. But let me show you right here just to show you guys what actually happened. So RFK Jr. planned to drop out of the presidential race by the end of this week. Sources tell that Kennedy plans to endorse Trump, but when asked directly by ABC if he would be endorsing the former president, Kennedy said he will not confirm or deny, so he doesn't want to leave it until Friday. We are not talking about any of that. Sources caution that the decision is not finalized and could still change. With one source adding that Kennedy's hope is in part to finalize things quickly in order to be blunt momentum from the DNC. One possible scenario being discussed is for Kennedy to appear on stage with Trump at an event in Phoenix, which he actually is in Phoenix with his event as well. So Trump has an event in Phoenix as well as Kennedy, so that's also interesting as well. Kennedy's campaign manager emailed senior staff on Wednesday thanking them for their hard work, but indicated a decision on the way forward has not been made. A spokesperson for Kennedy posted on X that Kennedy will address the nation on Friday to discuss the path forward, but offered no specifics. Kennedy told ABC News regarding the DNC, the Democrat convention, and the Democrat presidential nominee, "I think it was a coronation and not a democracy. It's not a democracy. Nobody voted. Who chose Kamala? It wasn't the voters. So he's probably not going to be picking Kamala no matter what." He also complained about the way his campaign has been treated. She went in 4 weeks from being the worst liability for the Democrat Party to the second coming of Christ without giving one interview, without showing up for a debate, without a single policy that anyone thinks isn't ridiculous. He said it's not democracy, which I completely agree with Kennedy. That's the reason I think he will be endorsing Trump, which a lot of people think so. And I do expect Friday he will be endorsing Trump. If he doesn't, that'd be probably the dumbest thing he could do because most of those voters are probably going to be going to Kamala Harris at that point. But if he does endorse Trump, which is expected, Trump will definitely get a massive boost, which I'll show you exactly why. So let's go to this. So this is the general election, Trump versus Harris. It shows a 1.5 lead for Harris. Oh, hold on. I had to reload it. It shows a 1.5 lead for Harris. And basically, she is leading by 1.5 in the polls. I do not know why it keeps saying that. But let's go to the 5-way. Let's go to the 5-way here. So here's the 5-way. If I need to delete these, I'll delete these if that's what it is. But that's probably not what it is. Okay, so this is Trump versus Harris versus Kennedy versus Stein versus West. So remember, Stein and West do take from Kamala no matter what, and no matter what, they're probably not dropping out at all. Kennedy is possibly dropping out, and in the average, he averages 4.5% nationally, which is pretty low because he used to be a little bit higher. But for an advantage for Trump, that's massive. So 4.5. If Kennedy endorsed Trump, to be specific. Obviously, not all 4.5% would go for Trump. But if at least 2% or even 1 point something goes to Trump, it's a massive advantage, especially in certain states and especially in the popular vote as well. So if Kennedy does drop out and endorse Trump and at least 2% of his 4.5 nationally votes for Trump, that is a massive blow to Harris. And even if Stein and West dropped out, which they won't, but even if they did and they went to Harris, it still wouldn't be a big advantage for her. Honestly, if Kennedy does drop out and endorse Trump, it's going to be a massive blow to the Harris campaign. And to show you right here, here's all the states I put on here to show you how the advantage works. So this is a 0.2 Trump lead in Arizona as of right now. Then when you go to the 5-way, you have a Harris 0.6 lead. But then you see Kennedy down here, and he has a 5.8%. If Trump can get 2 to 3% of that, he sweeps Arizona. And I'm actually going to go to right here, so I'll base it on this. So here's the map right here, and I left these states off just to show you guys how it could look if Kennedy does indeed drop out and endorse Trump. So with Arizona, obviously Harris has the lead, but if Kennedy does drop out and endorse Trump, 2% of that, if that goes to Harris, and this is 5.8%, so possibly even 3, but 2% goes to Trump. That is a big advantage, and he wins the state, basically. So he wins Arizona. And then you go to the next state. You got Nevada here. You got Trump up in Nevada on the 2-way, and then you got the 5-way right here, which has Trump up by 2.2. So and Kennedy has 5.3. If he gets 2% of that, he destroys Harris in Nevada. So you look at Yamps right now. You see yet another political simulator, whatever you call it. You got Trump winning Nevada. Then you go to Wisconsin. You got a 1.0 Harris lead. But then when you go to the 5-way here, you got a 1.5 Harris lead. But with Kennedy, he leads by 5 in there in Wisconsin. If Trump gets 2% of that, he barely but does win the state of Wisconsin, which Trump always overperforms in Wisconsin by about 6 points, so he'd technically dominate. But just basing it off of Kennedy's margin, Trump wins the state by basically barely. So Trump wins Wisconsin. You got to win in Wisconsin there. And then you go to the next state, which is Michigan. Harris leads by 2. You go to the 5-way. Harris leads by 2.4. Then when you look at Kennedy, it's 5.9, so possibly a 3% for Trump, which a 3% would actually win Trump the state. But if you say 2%, Harris would win. But basing it off of being almost a 6 percentage point, I would say possibly 3% goes to Trump. So that would actually be a Trump win right there. But if you did want to say Harris, that would be a Harris win if it's 2%. But since it's a little bit higher and it's almost 6%, I would say that that Trump does win Michigan based on that standpoint. And then you have 261 already. Then you go to the next state, Pennsylvania. Trump leads Pennsylvania by 0.2. And then you go to the 5-way in Pennsylvania. You got Harris leading by 2. But then there's Kennedy. He leads by 4.4. If you go by a 2%, that means Trump wins. Trump narrowly wins Pennsylvania, narrowly in that scenario. He would narrowly win Pennsylvania. So you give Trump Pennsylvania there. He gets 280 already. Then you go to North Carolina. You got Trump winning 1.2. Then you go to the 5-way here. You got a tie, a theoretical tie. But then there's Kennedy, 4.3. You give that 2% to Trump. Trump wins North Carolina. And then you got Georgia here. Georgia's a really interesting one. So you got Trump leading in Georgia by 1. And you go to the 5-way here, Trump leads by 1.7 because Trump overperforms with Georgia. So basically, if he got 2% of Kennedy's, he would whoop Kamala Harris in Georgia. So Trump wins every single battleground state. And I don't think, I'm just going to look just in case. I'm not sure about Minnesota. I haven't looked, but I don't think Minnesota can be won by Trump based on this scenario. But I will look just to show you guys. So Harris leads by 8. And I believe there's a 5-way. Yes. So Harris leads by 8. She leads by 6 in the 5-way. There is not really any. I don't think there is a thing that shows. Yeah, here it is. No, right here. So Kennedy leads 7. So technically, if he won every single portion of Kennedy's vote in Minnesota, he would win Minnesota. But if you're basing it off of him winning 7, I would say maybe 4% goes to Trump, so he narrowly loses the state of Minnesota. So he would ultimately lose the state of Minnesota. I don't think Virginia has any. I didn't really look, but I will look just to see. But not a lot of polls have came out, but I will see. So when you look at the 5-way in Virginia, yes, there is. So a 3.5 in Harris lead. So, but then there's a 6.5 for Kennedy. If it's very possible because of that, Trump can win the state, but he would have to get a little bit over 3.5% of that Kennedy vote, which is very, very possible. It really depends. I would say half of the Kennedy support would go to Trump, so I would say it would basically be like a theoretical tie if this is accurate, a theoretical tie right there. But obviously, it really depends. I honestly, in my opinion, I would say a theoretical tie. So I'll just give it to Harris, but technically Trump can win the state of Virginia in this scenario, but I would just give it to Harris just because it's a theoretical tie, and Harris does lead nationally in the state of Virginia. But basically, all of these states would go to Trump. It would be 312 to 226. Trump would whoop Harris in the Electoral College and probably win the popular vote as well if he does get half of Kennedy's support. And he could even possibly win Virginia. Virginia is a very possible state to win because of that, and that would be 325. But I'll just leave it off for now. But 312 to 226, Trump would demolish Harris based on this scenario. If you do give Trump half of Kennedy's support, or maybe just 2% in all the states. Obviously, if it was 2% in Virginia, it would not work out. But if it's half of Kennedy's support, you got this map right here, and possibly Virginia. It's just a theoretical tie. And obviously, Trump overperforms polling, so it's very possible that Trump could also win the state of Virginia. But in Virginia, remember, he also underperforms usually in Virginia. But Virginia is shifting to the right, so you just never really know. But other than that, there really isn't anything else to show you guys. But it just shows that if Trump does get Kennedy's support, he will massively improve in this election and make it basically an easy win to a degree. I wouldn't say an easy win, but I would say a way easier path to victory than what he's been dealing with. Because Kennedy's really been a thorn in his side after Biden dropped out. So if Kennedy does drop out and endorse Trump, this really helps him out tremendously. And even in the popular vote, you get 2% of that Kennedy 4 or 4.5. You win the popular vote as well. I mean, it just shows that it really can be a massive impact for Trump if that happens. So it's just a really great thing to possibly see if RFK Jr. does drop out. In my opinion on RFK Jr., I do think RFK Jr. can be a massive asset to the Trump administration. RFK Jr., in my opinion, is closer to me in politics than Trump is, based on policy. But in my opinion, I think RFK Jr. is a very good asset to Trump, and he could be really, really good at being whatever he wants him to be. In my opinion, I think he should be like a CIA director or something like that. That would be a really good position for RFK Jr. He could even like release the Kennedy files, and that would really be really, really nice to see, especially for someone that's in the Kennedy family that deserves to see stuff like that. But other than that, that's what I wanted to show you guys today. On Friday, definitely, if Kennedy does endorse Trump, I will definitely make a video on that. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to make. Obviously, I want to talk about the state of Virginia, but I'm not going to make a video on it now because of this coming out. But if you just look right here, Trump is improving really well in Virginia. A new poll actually just came out recently that Trump is doing pretty well with this pollster right here with Virginia. It is the Harris plus 3, but remember, Joe Biden led by a bunch when it came. Oh, actually, let me go to the two-way. So, 3. So she leads by 3. And I think it is a massive advantage for Trump, especially in a state like Virginia. But also remember, if Kennedy does drop out, it makes it even more of a massive advantage because a lot of that Kennedy support will be going directly to Trump if he endorses him. But other than that, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think of what actually might happen here. Do you think Kennedy is going to endorse Trump? And if he does, do you think it's going to be a massive advantage for him? Do you think all of Kennedy's supporters are just going to go third party or not vote? What do you really expect that's going to happen? In my opinion, I think half or maybe like a third of the Kennedy support will go to Trump. So you might see like a theoretical tie or like a Trump lead in the popular vote. So you'll see more Trump gains. I guarantee you there's going to be Trump gains if he does drop out. I don't think it'll be as massive as it was against Joe Biden because he had a lot of support when it was Joe Biden. But I do think it'll be a significant amount of support that can win Trump the election in this scenario. But anyway, guys, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. The next video will probably be out Friday, and I'll let you know if Kennedy does endorse him, I'll do a video on that. If he doesn't endorse him, I'll also do a video on that just to clown on Kennedy. But he's probably not going to do that. That's not something Kennedy would probably do. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.